just about to. Um, it has been 20 minutes since the delay started. Okay, so here we go.
And we got a little reference to that mid '80s beat 'em up bat.
Are you a bad enough dude to rescue Zelda? It's a good question. We'll figure out here.
So just to get you guys caught up, Mclagging is 4-3. Matt7898 is 1-8. This is their third match. So and Mclagging had won both of them. So I don't know who vetoed what. So we'll figure that out later.
Yeah, I suspect if it's in line with most of what's been happening in this tournament, they veto things like, uh, nobody wants to see retro. A lot of people don't want to see key sanity. Some people veto some of the harder modes. Ooh, we have two weapons right out of the gate. I mean, we knew Uncle had a sword, but that is a convenient bow.
And to answer your question, chat, yes, Unikitty, it's only the bosses are shuffled when it's standard mode, and that's to prevent any difficulties early on in escape, like maybe Hynixes or the roller room spikes all over the place in escape. They'll just make it impossible for the start.
Yeah, this is probably one of the most, I'm going to say, standard, like bog standard races I've probably seen in this tournament. The only really weird thing being the bosses being shuffled around. However, that being said, it is chaos bosses, so who knows? We could get 7 Trinexes. it's not it's not out of the question.
Well, if it were all dungeons, then sure we could get 7 Trinexes, but this is just the Ganon, so pendants might not be visited this.
And a glove, that is get some real value out of escape here.
Also, both of them got a 10 arrow drop, so they can use their bow immediately. So they can kill this ball and chain guard with 2 or 3 arrows.
Yeah, this is much better than what you'd like to be seeing for Mclagging going with the traditional NMG strat here. Okay. So the value in escape continues.
Okay, are we gonna have any value for later on this game? Well, actually, they still need to get a bomb. That's the one. That's the next thing they need.
Yeah, they're still hunting around for that. But I mean, good gracious. Uh, this is definitely another thing we've seen in this tournament is folks sort of going for the doing standard mode. Um, just because there's a lot of people picking modes that sort of mitigate the randomization of Randomizer, which sounds a little bit weird, but I think standard mode is one of those just because you're forced through this bottleneck at the start of the game where you have to do escape, and so you have to get all the items out of there. I know when I'm doing open mode, I hate even thinking of going and doing escape. Matt's got the bomb, so there is a bomb drop on those green guards. Mclagging's just getting no drops.
And before boots at Dark Cross,
Oh
Kappa.
man. Well, I mean, at least they found that glove. That's at the very, very least you want to be able to have found that. That's a huge relief.
Yeah, at least, yeah, so early. If you didn't get a bomb and escape or boots and escape, then you're fine. Speaking of that Dark Cross, I can see why you don't like coming back here for open mode, because we've seen quite a few times people not going to Dark Cross. Oh, there's an item.
Oh yeah, there's all. Oh, there he goes. So Mclagging's picking up that bomb. Yeah, there's always something stupid. I mean, the number of times that I've seen Mirror there, and I just could have had Mirror, 20 minutes before I ended up getting it. It's terrible. In this case, it's just a map though, so that's fine.
Or there was this one race last year where the Titan's mid was at Dark Cross, or it was in a dark room. It could have been Dark Cross, or it could have been Pod, but neither runner had the lamp, so they didn't know they had Titan's mid until like 20 minutes later.
It's just, and it's never a case of not. It's just slow, honestly. Hey, nice bomb refill. It's, these runners of this caliber are competent enough to be able to do Dark Cross in the dark, but you know that you're going to waste time back there, especially overdoing it with the lamp, and you're just going there for one item. It's just one item. You're walking through all these dark rooms.
Yeah, you just don't want to be kept in the dark and let it nag at you forever. Sanctuary only had a big 20, the most common prize in this game.
Yeah, so the value is kind of petering out to the back of the escape sequence. So they're both out fairly close together. I think the only reason Matt's a little bit ahead is having found that bomb earlier. They're basically neck and neck heading into Kakariko. We'll see. I don't think either of them are deciding to head over to see what's in Lumberjack, just straight to the woods.
Yeah, that's been a popular play, especially if you don't have the boots. It doesn't really help you if you don't have them. Also, I believe we saw a little quick map check of, and a 5-6 crystal at East. I didn't quite see what desert was.
Got ourselves an ether medallion, and a 50 rupee drop is kind of nice to find before heading into Kakariko.
Yep, gotta pay up the bottle vendor.
Yeah, it's nice to have that 100 rupees as you're heading out of Blind's Hut rather than having to farm around for them. Yeah, so we got both of our non-green crystals in the light world, plus one of those 5-6s. Which is interesting because that means we're going to be clearing out a lot of Dark World dungeons.
Oh, that means that there are gonna be a lot of items. We're talking about this a little early, but a lot of items possibly for pedestal.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't take much to get into Desert or Hera. It's going to depend where that green pendant is. Value's still petering out here. I mean, hopefully they find the hammer. That'd be really convenient with that powder drop.
Hammer and pearl pretty soon would be nice, but my only next question being, will they actually talk to Sahasrara to see where the green pendant is so they know what all their crystals are, or they just leave it till they get to dark?
I don't know. I think at this point, the fact that you only have two things you're really having to pay attention to in the Dark World means the map check there is probably a little bit quicker. Nice bottle. It's probably the most convenient thing you can find in Kakariko outside of that hammer.
Yeah, you can outside with the last thing they need being the flute. You can check this sick kid, and then you're practically done.
I mean, an early flute would be fantastic for these two. I think we've churned through basically all the 10 arrows in the game. That's not true.
Nah, I'm surprised they haven't gotten all of it at this point. How many was that right now?
I think they're up to 3. Nah, I'm thinking of one from I'm thinking of the one the green card dropped in Escape.
Oh yeah, he did drop one.
Well, that's definitely two of them. Hey, not bad, Master Sword.
So a map away from Aghanim.
Yeah.
Sorry, did I say map? I meant lamp.
It's got most of the same letters.
This is what happens when you rush home from work and need to eat dinner quickly.
That's fine. Nothing at library. Oh, okay. Yeah, you need that. That's
Yeah, better call Phantom because that's gotta be Kane.
that is where it is. That's a super convenient early find. Just because no matter what, I mean, it's going to depend on what we find in the Dark World, but the odds are really in the favor of both Misery Mire and Turtle Rock being crystal dungeons. If that's the case, then you really don't want to be hunting around for that red cane.
Oh, at the very least, there is gonna be one. The cane is needed because one of them is gonna be required at least.
Yeah. This is not one of those. I mean, a red caneless seed is very, very rare. Despite the fact that it's only really needed for Misery Mire, Turtle Rock, and maybe Ganon.
Yeah, that's the only quibble is the right side Ganon Tower play, which would be a pain in the rear end.
Oh, I hate that. Anytime you get, either cane or the fire rod not being required before you get into Ganon's tower, and then suddenly you find, or the boots, and suddenly you find out, uh-oh.
There was one time where last year where a runner had to run out of Ganon's tower because the bow was not in Ganon's tower,
Oh,
and
yes,
they didn't.
that's very much a possibility. So this early bow, early cane, all really... Hey! Oh, man, where was that 2 minutes ago?
Yeah, that would have been useful to get to the magic bat.
It's always, and anytime you find that early powder, the hammer is just right outside of Kakariko.
And now we're just a pearl away from Dark World.
Yeah, this is a quick start. We got a nice weapon. I mean, we got a couple of nice weapons. We got several nice weapons.
Yeah, especially this Master Sword. It makes easy work with the mini mold arms. Let's see what these chests are. 300 rupees, 350. Oh, there's our
Hey.
pearl.
Oh my goodness.
Blue mail. And a heart.
Okay, well, let's go. This is 13 minutes. We got Dark World access. That is bananas. All right. Okay.
Yeah, now I'm guessing an Ice Rod play and possibly Fake Fiddlers now that they have Moon Pearl, so they can check the waterfall.
Yeah, that would be an interesting diversion. Like if one of them ends up doing that and one of them doesn't, because you got a ton of stuff that you can check in the Dark World right now. But if this is a late Flippers seed and something's locked behind that, then man. Just to answer the thing in chat, because this is standard mode, you're not going to see enemies in the overworld. So this is, oh my goodness. Okay. Well, I'm glad they went over there. Wow.
Okay, okay. I'm wondering if we got a jet seed going on. I wonder when we're gonna get this turn into a troll.
Yeah, this is fast. I mean, we have no idea what any of the bosses are, so whether or not Turtle Rock ends up being a pendant or a crystal, Trinex is very much a possible problem for us anywhere we go. That being said, like, even before we go to the Dark World, there's still a pretty good chance that one of our runners is going to hop into Eastern Palace and try to clear that thing out. Although, I don't know. It's a tough decision right now.
Yeah, I'm expecting that play as well. Oh, well, we got the Quake Medallion as well. That's 2/3 of our way to Meyer and TRX.
Dang. Okay. So both of these guys decided to fake flipper, and it was probably, maybe a good idea. We'll see how this shakes out, I guess.
Depends on what the Waterfall Fairy and our Scamfish have for us today.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to ignore this play when you've been given 750 rupees right up out of the gate.
Okay, these runners are scaring me right now. All those dodges of the Zora beams is just like,
Oh, they're lucky this is standard Randomizer and not open as an Randomizer, because that can get really, really gross.
well, let's see. Oh, just 20 rupees at the ledge. Let's see what our favorite
Yeah, that's good
Scamfish has
news.
for today.
So then this is the only thing they're doing here that's actually in logic. We kind of got to remember that that Quake Medallion is flipper locked. So if that's actually our entry point into a dungeon, then that dungeon can't have flippers in it. Nah, there's nothing there. Okay.
So the fake flippers just coughed up a Quake coin, so yeah, it wasn't really that helpful just.
Well, time to go figure out. Oh, okay. We see our first big diversion. So Matt's taking the sort of safe route into the dark world down south, where you clear out Hype Cave and Southern Hyrule, where you don't have the Titan's mitts. Whereas Mclagging is just heading straight. Never mind. I thought he was going to head straight for the Village of Outcasts, but no, he is headed up Death Mountain.
Is he gonna check Lumberjack first? No, he isn't. So let's see what Hype Cave has for us today. And it starts off with the mirror. Ooh, that's good.
Mclagging's going to be kicking himself. Nice
Wow.
slivers.
What the? Okay. What the heck?
That's not bad. Don't know what that shovel's leading to, but those safeties are nice.
Well, it looks
Okay.
like the cane will be required fully because both Meyer and TR are crystals. Green Pendant is at Pod, and Swamp has the other 5/6 crystal. So Flippers and Mirror are definitely required this seed as well.
So that cranks up the risk a little bit here for Mclagging. I mean, if he doesn't find the Titan's mitts up here, then there's sort of a limited amount of stuff that he can do up here. And even then, like, given the fact that he's definitely not going to find the mirror up here. Ooh, nice lamp. Just given the fact that he's definitely not going to find the mirror up here, that makes traversing this mountain a little bit more difficult as well, or a little bit more slow.
Yeah.
Plus Matt gets this whole... Ooh, okay.
We're still fighting items here. That's a good thing. And let's see what the hint is. Unique item in a cold. Yeah, we found that game.
Thank you, triangle box thing. It's always after you find it,
Yeah, it's always funny. Actually, still the funniest to me because I clipped it as well was one race where Boots was in Eastern, and then the hint tile says, "Oh, Boots are in Eastern." Like, yeah, thanks.
I mean, it's gotta be there. That hint's gotta be somewhere. Yeah, so this makes this whole thing more interesting. I'm gonna be curious where those Titans mitts are.
So So start a Paradox Cave, big 20 and a piece of heart. Digging game, only 3 bombs.
Not finding much else in the southern dark world there. However, finding a fire source and a mirror is not bad at all. It's not a great mountain. I mean, that book is nice.
Yeah, let's see what Floating Island has for us and then see if Mclagging's gonna bother with, well, he's gonna check Ether Tablet first and maybe go into.
Yeah, this is curious because you kind of get to this point after checking all this stuff and finding nothing where you might be tempted to sort of you got to either cut your losses or you got to sort of double down on your play here. And so he might end up, at least hopping into Tower of Hera, if not getting both of the items in there just to sort of round out his play.
So it might save him if the big key is in the basement chat. And looks like we got a cape in the pyramid. Or rather on Pyramid Ledge.
Where are you heading? I mean, you've got everything it takes to clear pod. Is that where you're headed? No, he's pulling out the mirror.
I don't know, I would have gone for catfish just so I can get that out of the way.
But you would like to have more bombs.
A big key in that chest, which means Mclagging's gonna keep digging.
This is also interesting on Matt's side. Like, this is a pendant dungeon play over. Or maybe he's not even going there. Maybe he's just going to check Sasha. And he's definitely going to do Eastern, I would think. But if he goes into Pod, that'd be. There's a lot of stuff in there. Plus, there's that green pendant in there. Plus, and he's right outside of Sahasra's place. Oh, come on. Sahasra.
Looks like Sahasra like the. Ooh, that's a big,
Okay.
big and trolley. Because the unique item. Well, we already found the single arrow, but what other unique trolley items are there left?
That's very, very interesting. Oh.
That's gonna like bother Mclagging for a good while because he doesn't have that fire source.
Gosh, I think he's got to go. Like we're just missing so many unique items right now. It could be the boots, it could be the flippers, it could be the flute, it could be either of the rods.
Oh wait, is this randomized or endomized? Because that's a Moldamite.
It is,
Okay.
but it's got one too many eyes, I would think, or 2 or 3 or 4 too many eyes.
4 too many eyes and weird placements.
Yeah. So for those who don't know, okay, well that's vanilla. In Boss Randomizer, Moldorm not only gets randomized into random places, if that option is turned on, but also gets a random number of eyes.
It's not a very good sight to see.
He's saying no to the unique item.
He doesn't have a fire source.
Oh, that's right.
Only Matt has a fire source with the lamp from Stumpy? Yes.
I totally forgot. That's rough. That's going to be interesting. That is going to be very, very interesting.
Oh, looks like Matt found 2 of the 3 items so far because he has the tempered sword, and he just found the big key, and the second chest was 3.
That's also It's like that's the exact same thing as the Harahan, because that could be Sahasrara. And now
Sahasrara, Catfish, and a bunch of other NPCs.
do you go into pod?
I mean, it could be the hobo hit for the hint for the hobo because of the Quake coin.
It could be. I mean, it could be a bunch of things. The number of things that it could be right now is dwindling. Uh, so, like, is it the hint that we already found?
Yeah, that's gonna be a bothersome nagging in Matt's mind. It's like, who else could have a unique?
Mclagging still saying no to the Dark World.
Yeah, his routing's gonna take a hit because of this. Meanwhile, Matt has found all 3 items in Eastern, so Armos has the compass left and just
Well, we did find a tempered, and that's not anything. That's a good find.
yeah. The difference between Master Sword and temper damage is pretty much exponential.
Gosh, this Hera basement item is gonna kill me. It is eating away at the back of my mind. It's like, and what's worse is like if Matt ends up finding the Titan's Mitt before heading up to Death Mountain, he may just not go in. Oh, the easiest boss in Boss Randomizer.
Yeah, very easy when you don't have to deal with a conveyor belt and moving spikes. And here's our first crystal of them.
Nicely done. Although, I mean, with Tempered Sword and absolutely nothing in the way. Yeah, half the problem with the vanilla moth fight is the room.
The room and not having a good loadout. And looks like Matt's gonna dip into Green Pendant Pod. It's not a bad idea. Because of the Green Pendant, it is 6 items up for.
Yeah, he might be thinking about that held by somebody friendly hint. I mean, it might be for Hobo, but there's no reason it couldn't be Sahasrara.
So in terms of somebody friendly, we have Sahasrara, um, Catfish, Magic Bats, a Dwarves, I believe, and I can't think of anybody else. Oh, maybe a Gina, or is that considered the chest?
I think for someone friendly, they actually have to give it to you.
Yeah, that's what I was figuring. So far, nothing in pods. It's just living up to its name of Mullet Mansion.
Yeah.
Business in the front, party in back, because there's too many keys in the.
What do we got? Piece of heart held by someone friendly. Okay, now that's so that was almost certainly Zora. I mean, unless somebody else is hanging onto a piece of heart.
Yeah, watch that be Sahasrara or one of the other guys left.
Oh yeah, there's plenty of friendly, plenty of quarter hearts as well.
Okay, thank you, our tracker, Draco Falcone. for giving us a full list. He says it's a Gina, Zora, Hobo, Catfish, Witch, and Uncle as the friendlies. Though we already got Uncle item.
Well, we'll know in a bit. I have no doubt that Matt intends to finish this place out, especially given the fact that he has the mirror. Mirror definitely makes Pod into a more attractive option.
Yeah, death warping is a pain, especially when you forget that you have fairies in the box.
If I remember correctly, the one they have has a bee in it. I don't know if it's a nice bee. So we'll know if somebody decides to pause.
Yeah, I don't remember actually. It was just a bee. Just don't remember it was the good bee.
Although truly, aren't all bees good bees?
True, they're only bad when you are bad to them.
So this is interesting. Mclagging's heading over to the 5 flute spot, which I suspect means that he's going to be popping into Pod.
I have no worries for Mclagging because I'm assuming that he knows his dark rooms, but this is gonna cost him a little time if he kind of.
It is, I mean, unless you are just amazing at this game, which, I mean, Mclagging certainly is. His NMG time is way up there. But I think, no matter who you are, you're always gonna you're always gonna get nickel and dimed on time here and there doing dark rooms.
So Matt's on his way to Helmasaur King's room. Let's see who's actually in Helmasaur King.
Yeah, this is another good question because I think the only thing that they can't fight right now is a Trinex.
Trinex and Cold Stare. They don't have Fire Rod or Bottle.
Oh, that's right. The other two stupid medallions.
I mean, it would be nice if you can use like Ether or Quake against the boss, but nope, that doesn't happen. So, correct me if I'm wrong, but there wasn't really anything in Pod so far.
No, we really haven't seen anything in here.
Well, if the boss and if Sasura doesn't have anything, then I'm calling this small match and a crew cut cat. So, is this even random?
That's more vanilla. Ah, come on. We gotta get at least one boss out of order.
Well, we did get Mothula and Eastern, but
Yeah, that's true. So we do know that the randomizer didn't screw up. Just a little, that was the last item in there, and it is only a big 20, so there was complete bupkis in here.
as I was about to finish my thought before seeing Helma in his room, I'm calling this mullet match in a crew cut castle. All business, no part.
Oh man, and Mclagging's in a rough situation here because he's got to do this dungeon without the mirror, and so you see him sort of going the long way here. All right, are you the friendly person? Nope.
Well, yeah, there was another that said the friendly person has a piece of heart, and it's not just Zora. So we have Sahasrara with that. So
So that's 2 friendly people with quarter hearts. 2 more friendly quarter hearts, and we get a whole friendly heart. Well, that was an unfortunate big old... Okay, so Mclagging is going to save a little bit of time here just by virtue of doing the hammer jump.
I have a feeling that both the runners are gonna feel behind because of this 5-minute dip into pod that led to nothing.
Yeah, that was a long old play for nothing. You know, just, I mean, tempered out of Eastern is nice, and a crystal out of Eastern is nice, and that was the entirety of it. So this has got to, especially without the boots. Doing pod without the boots and Eastern without the boots, you just feel slow. You feel so slow.
To be fair, Eastern with the boots isn't so slow, considering that's how you normally would play it in NM.
Yeah, it certainly. It just has a lot of long, like you're going across very long rooms and across very long bridges, and it's the same thing here, like walking across this long bridge. And then when you come down the stairs here, just going down this long hallway full of fives. Hey, ice rod.
Well, there's one troll item we all have to worry about.
Okay.
Of course, I say that in the fire rod turns out to be troll.
Yeah, well, we still got a long ways to go. It's almost vanilla, but a little bit of a discount.
Let's see what this house has in here, and it's just another big 20.
Yeah, I need more of a discount. Good gracious, Mclagging is going to feel incredibly behind when he finally makes his way to Hype Cave.
Which was actually hype for a change.
Yeah, I mean, anywhere you find the mirror is hype for me. Mirror and boots are what turn a seed that feels sluggish into a seed that you just fly through.
Or sprint through in this case.
He's not going to beat the boss.
Yeah, I think he realizes that this just seems like a way too long of a time sink and just wants to cut his losses.
Yeah, he has already sunk all that time onto Death Mountain as well. I mean, he did get that fantastic hint in Hera. Maybe fantastic. Allegedly fantastic.
Feels more migraine inducing at this point.
It is unfortunate that he's not taking the south route first, since we know as well where the shovel is, and this is going to kind of orphan items for him. What would be convenient is if we had a vanilla pair of... Ooh. So we have another boss that's out of place here. Not that this is any easier than the vanilla fight.
But we have blue or purple-ish Argus instead of his standard red-orange. And he's somehow still splashing water when there's no water in the room.
Also opting not to do the single silver arrow shot.
He might not be comfortable with it.
It is easier to do when you have the visual cues inside the actual proper dungeon. Okay, so he is going back in. He just wanted to see
He probably just wanted to see if he's going to be locked out early on.
Yeah, you want to know what that boss is.
So we're just missing the fire rod, the flutes, the flippers, possibly the boots for go.
It'll be interesting to see whether or not that book actually comes in handy as well. We're missing, I believe, 2 more items here in Thieves' Town. Something sharps in Ganon's Tower, so we know where our 4th sword is. Not that we're really gonna go hunting around for that thing.
Yeah, the even though butter is more powerful, but it doesn't really save as much time uh, from going from butter tempered to butter as it is from master sword to.
Yeah, you can typically one-shot most things in Ganon's Tower with tempered 1 or 2 shots. And to add to that, you can, like, if you can consistently do 1 cycles for the first 2 phases of Ganon, then that also negates the power of butter.
Yeah, there are many ways you can do that, whether it be dash strats or magic cape or getting the luck of the draw with Ganon sticking to like the corner and getting spin strike.
Well, there are actually, like, if you've practiced it, there are only actually 4 setups for the first 2 phases of Ganon, and if you've practiced all 4 of them, you can get it every single time, regardless of RNG, as long as you've got the tempered sword. If you don't, though, you are out of luck.
Yeah, master sword spin slashes, ugh, especially for silverless. And it looks like Thieves Town didn't have anything for today.
No. I suspect Mclagging's route here is going to end up being a little bit faster, just given the fact that he didn't have to go through the front of the dungeon twice. I'm not sure precisely how much time that saves over going up the stairs through the basement, but it's going to be a little bit. All right, we finally get to figure out, was this the friendly person we were talking about? I mean, it might have been Hobo. Nope. It's probably
Nope.
Hobo.
Yeah, it was probably Hobo, because there really wasn't much.
I mean, that is a pretty unique looking coin.
So looks like Matt's gonna take a look at both. Oh, he's gonna take a look at. Thought he's gonna go take a look at Skull Woods, but he's gonna take a look at north side of both Dark and Light World, High World. Starting probably with Bumper Cave, then Leopard. Oh no, is he gonna do Death Mountain play?
Yeah, I guess he's heading up. Well, this is going to be interesting because he's not going to find the Titan's Mitts up here, and he might decide to go into Hera Basement, which is still just eating away at the back of my head here.
If it's something like Titan's Mitt, which I forgot to add into my Go mode analysis earlier, or if it's gonna be like Fire Rod, then oh boy, or something else that's Go mode.
Yeah, Fire Rod is honestly the worst to be down there because it means that the lamp doesn't just end up being logically necessary to beat dark rooms, it ends up being literally necessary.
And we've seen that in the many races we've seen the fire rod be in a lamp lock location.
Yeah, it can be in a couple of those locations. You know, left side of Misery Mire, stuff like that. It's always kind of silly when it shows up there. All right, Matt's got his book and his amazing hint about where the hook shot was. Save and quit out of there.
Probably was faster to save and quit than to walk back.
Not actually sure. Somebody should probably time that. All right, Mclagging is finally going to go through the reverse order here. Get his lamp from Stumpy. Get the unfortunate news that both the mirror and the shovel are past Stumpy.
And then he's gonna have to route the other way, which is not fun.
I mean, he might end up heading back that way anyway, just given the fact that he's got the book and the mirror, and he probably wants to check a couple of things. Like, he can go take a look at the desert area, as well as check the Bombos tablet. A couple of those things might end up being interesting to him.
Okay, I was just double checking the hints, and it turns out that Aginas is not considered somewhat friendly. It's considered with a hermit or requires a book.
Yeah. They gotta be holding it for them to be holding it, so to speak. Alright, time for Mclagging to get some bad news.
Wonder they're gonna be in rage slashes in a bit.
I think he's just gonna head out of there, but that's what you wanted for Pod, and that. He's just gonna peel on out of there. All right, so this is the moment that I have been deeply interested for the last 15 minutes. Matt, heading into Tower of Hera, are you going to go to the basement? And if so, what on earth is down there? I need to know. It's killing me.
Unfortunately, you're gonna have to wait a few more minutes because I believe this hint tower was a troll hint, and
Yeah.
then the hint is upstairs. I don't think he's gonna go down yet. Yeah, I didn't think so. That's not normal. They're gonna wait till they beat the boss and get scared by our multi-eyed Bulldor.
Well, honestly, at this point, we're running out of plays. Like, there's that. We haven't been to Catfish yet. Desert might actually genuinely be interesting.
Also, our tracker, Draco Falcone, pointing out that, yeah, he doesn't have the small key yet. He's going to get it from this first chest before the second hint.
Yeah, no, it's an interesting place to find that, because you find that small key and then you're immediately informed, by the way, that small key, you might want that. All right, here we go. It is the Hera basement versus desert play. I mean, there's not much left, so it's a question of one of these things. Is it going to be the book ending up being necessary, or is it going to be that Hera basement play?
Or it could be Agina, which they could have went to like so early, or even Desert Ledge.
Yeah, he's always got those Titans mitts when you can get there early. Well, it's not the ledge. So this is just, for those keeping count at home, this is the third pendant dungeon we're heading into. Oh no! Oh no! Oh no!
Then Matt go down the whole.
Matt, I need you to not give up for me. For my curiosity. Oh. Can we go further in this dungeon? Yes. Next question. Is this dungeon boots locked?
That would definitely not be fun.
I mean, if it's not boots locked, this might genuinely end up being the play.
And I
chance.
believe, yeah, one more chance, because this is gonna be the vanilla big key, and then we'll see.
Nope. Vanilla big key.
Oh,
Well, the big key is on the torch. So this is boots locked.
oops! I take that back.
But he's going to head out the door and check what's on our friend Agina there. But I think, honestly, so yeah, Matt's heading back in. I think this is it. I think this is the thing that we're looking for, is in the basement here in Tower of Hera. Or maybe Agina.
I'm trying to figure out which one's gonna be more trollier in this case.
Well, for Mclagging, it's certainly this basement, just given the fact that he didn't have a fire source when he headed down here the first time. Okay.
Oh yeah, another thing about Randomizer, it changes the tile room pattern.
Oh yeah, that's a fun one. I don't know. I failed the Rorschach test, so I don't know what that is.
It could be Hylian glyphs, that's all I'm guessing. Because typically, if it's Randomizer, they just do Zelda 1.
Come on. Come on. Give me a break.
Do you want to do a fetch quest?
It's not. That's not. Just like string me along. Just string me along forever and ever and ever. You know what? You know what's funny is we also have a unique item with someone friendly.
Yeah, then the witch is considered someone friendly.
So man.
And this is our third fetch quest. The first two had nothing, so maybe this will have something.
Now this is interesting. Like Mclagging ended up heading immediately back here after he found that lamp, so he might have the right idea here and be able to catch up some time. Matt also has the right idea. Oh, what are we up to? Oh, okay, never mind. I thought he was gonna go into the dark world so that he could mirror and sort of chain this into catfish, but no, he's just doing the. That blue guard's ruining all his best laid plans. So he's trying to get right against the walls, so that's sort of the easy method of doing that fake flipper here, which takes you straight to here.
Yeah, because it's good that Matt remembers which lake portals lead to where, not just the one from ice, from Lake Hylia to Waterfall. And here you go. What does the witch have for us? And it's the fire rod. Now
Fire
we got
rod was technically fire locked. There we go. It happened. That's dumb. All right. Seed's back on track here.
Well, the funny thing is that they could have gone to Skull Woods and there could have been an item at Skull Woods, which is kind of funny. They usually would go to Skull Woods pretty early.
Yeah,
Once
I
you get
mean, you're sort of discouraged from going there if you don't have the fire rod, especially, I don't know. It's a tough decision, especially when you have a lot of other stuff open to you. But no, Matt's headed straight there. What's going to be really, really difficult is if the Titan's mitts end up being in the non-fire locked portion of Skull Woods. But we'll see. I mean, he's got the right idea to head right there. I think that is that fire rod is a very, very clear indication of where to go. And plus, we now officially have all the necessary weaponry to beat whatever boss that we find back here, including Trinex.
Oh yeah, because yeah, fire rod kills cold. Like we were talking earlier, fire rod needed for cold stare and for
Which is unfortunate because we're now very well equipped for both the Trinex fight. Oh man, Mclagging. Once again, not going to get his fire rod quite before heading here, so this is going to be another unfortunate double dip of this dungeon.
Yeah, he's, well, getting burned by his routing right now.
It could be end up being interesting. It really depends what's in this non-fire locked part of here. Which I guess is just down to this one last the Gibdo room. Not the Gibdo room. Not Bumper Gibdo room. Other Gibdo room. The one with the annoying Gibdos.
Yes, 2 Gibdos, 2 jellies, a moving statue, and a wall master, which is completely mitigated when you have the cane of smoke.
Nope. If we are looking for something here, the back.
And interestingly, oh wait, I don't think Matt found any items, so he knows that this item is a Titan's Pit.
There it is. So it wasn't in the front of the dungeon, it was indeed in the fire-locked part of the dungeon. This is, gosh, I mean, in the case of Matt, this is turning out to be a fairly linear seed, and in the case of Mclagging, it's just turning out to be like a couple of decisions are causing some backtracking and double dips.
He's, well, Mclagging behind right now. Ooh, we got another troll dorm that's not having a fun time on that Gale conveyor belt. Troll dorm, not so troll this time.
Yeah, he's, I think with all those eyes, he'd be able to see where he's going. You know what you got to do, Mclagging. You know exactly where you got to head. Yep.
Ooh, we got a pedestal check right now. Get your pedestal hypes in chat.
Not much of anything.
Yeah, the only two or three things three things that could have been there were. Actually, all of our gold items could have been there, so oh well. And Matt's following the breadcrumbs. He knows that his next progression has to be at Turtle Rock or in Dark Side Death Mountain. Because he can't do, because Turtle Rock's the only dungeon he can actually full complete right now. In logic, he could go after Ice Palace with the fake flipper, but again, no flippers, no.
It'll be interesting to see. Like I'm still curious whether or not we're going to end up needing that Bombos medallion.
Oh yeah, that is our one little quibble. I forgot about that. If that's like in Mire, that'd be funny.
What do we got? Ooh, okay. Well, that's that. Looks like we are hunting around for a Bombos medallion.
And thus, it's 4 items for go mode. Me and my big mouth about the bomb.
Well, we may not need those boots. Depends what ends up being the second item in desert. Or if the big key is on the torch. Mclagging with the unfortunate news. Yeah, I think Matt's on the right track here because I like, you know, it could be. It's either going to be Turtle Rock, I think, or we could be looking at the blacksmith's chain. But nobody wants to do the blacksmith's chain, even if you have the mirror. It's just nobody wants to do that, especially without boots. Who wants to do that?
I think it's more that they want to have the food for the blacksmith chain. Well, let's see if Mclagging can catch up with this catfish play, which Matt hadn't done. And that's a big nope. Matt, in the meantime, is gonna do a slightly out of logic spike cave, because I believe you need to have blue cane, or actually I take that back. He does have cane.
Yeah, the cave was in logic, so we better switch to it soon. Okay. Speaking of the blacksmith chain not being the right thing to do.
Water tools.
Yeah, that gives us a Swamp Palace and Ice Palace.
And it looks like that's Matt's play. He's gonna take both of them out. It's actually funny. I think both Mclagging and Matt could have gone for that when their first play trips to Death Mountain.
I mean, Mclagging didn't have the cape yet, so it would have been difficult. Not sure. I mean, he's still got his one bottle, I think.
Yeah, neither of them bought potion, interestingly enough.
Yeah, I mean, with 14 or 15 hearts, you kind of hope that some goo shows up along the way. Which somehow it always seems to.
I laugh at that hint right now because they
Yeah.
either of them could have checked early for that.
But who goes into swamp for the hint? Oh my goodness. These slightly late hints are killing me.
It's funny you say that about the swamp hit because I tracked the race a couple of weeks ago where a runner was dragging the purple chest to the specialist, and the hint at swamp just told them what was in the purple chest. It turned out to be a load of nothing, so the runner left the purple chest right there.
Yeah, I mean, you're lucky to get a nice one. Some of these are pretty ridiculous. Oop.
So with Matt doing Swamp House, this is actually an 8-item play. The 6 items in Swamp and then the 2 more at the pyramid.
Yeah, you can kind of combo this straight into Pyramid Fairy, which is lovely.
I'm expecting for Matt to do this, then to finish Swamp, then go to Pyramid Fairy, and then go to Mclagging. Gonna find out that he doesn't need to go to Pedestal.
Yeah, which is going to be a little bit of a kick in the pants given how many pendant dungeons have been dipped in. I mean, he doesn't know that Matt's finished off Pod, but turns out that finishing Pod wasn't necessary, finishing Tower of Heron wasn't necessary, and as far as we know, there's nothing going on in Desert either.
Mind you, did need to get the mushroom from the Hera basement.
Yeah, I mean, who's going to get that key and drop straight down to the basement without being in Moldorm? Not really likely. You could have done it.
Well, we got the blue cane just now.
Well, that's not bad.
So Matt's hoping that whoever is in Argus's room has the last item because both the big key and the compass are still at.
So Mclagging continues to be on the right track, just you know, lagging a little bit behind. We've got some Armos Knights here at the end of Swamp Palace, inappropriately placed.
And I spoke too soon with the commentators, Chris. Looks like Matt may go to the right side, or sorry, west side, to see what that last item, or last 2 items.
Gosh, when you're looking for 2 items, oh, he's gonna do it. I was gonna say, when you're looking for 2 items, it's hard to convince yourself to go to the left side swamp for just one of them. Could be Bombos, could be Flutes, could be a big 20.
Actually, I was just commenting on how I kind of goofed on how many items were left because I forgot that there are the 2 items in west side plus the big.
Oh, is one of those items on left side the big chest? Or big key? Or no, yeah. I mean, so we got 2 items in big key. Man, that's a little less difficult to to convince yourself. We'll see. We will see.
Mclagging's gonna have sore feet, but he's gonna put new shoes on after that.
All right. Quake Medallion back in logic for both of our runners. Not that that means anything at all.
Yeah, because unless it's because you're not going to mire early if the quake was required for mire.
No, it's starting to get the feeling that Flute is going to end up being flipper locked as well. All right, Matt, what do we got? Was this the play?
I'm hoping it's the play because this water palace wasn't really swamped with items.
There's our big key.
That's a troll. Now he has to go back to the big chest.
There's a big fiver. There's our stupid hint. Yeah, Mclagging did a spike cave, so he's got himself some flippers. All right, moment of truth. Was that left side play worth anything at all? No. It was worth a whopping $25.
Yeah, well, on the bright or dark side to it, you could say he has a devilish rupee count right now.
Hmm. So, okay, so Matt, desert play here. How far are you going to go to desert? Matt, is the question that I would like to know the answer to. And also, are you going to, never mind, I was going to say, are you going to leave your, are you going to leave your portal in an accessible place? And the answer appears to be no. It's not going into desert either, so that will at least be beneficial for him. But Mclagging is slowly catching up here.
Yeah, well, hopefully Matt doesn't walk back out of the Kia cave and just saves him quick. Yep, he's gonna save him quick. Answer your question, Chad. Yeah, we're after baubles, flute, and potentially boots, depending on where the Ganon's Tower big key.
I mean, I'm still rooting for the boots. Mclagging straight to left side. Interesting. I mean, that is going to save a little bit of time over the way that Matt routed it, but not as much time as you would save if you just didn't go there at all. Nice. Some bombs in Turtle Rock.
Yes, that hint blew 3 times over. Oh, brother.
I mean, it's not going to be some bombos, that's for sure. Speaking of which, where is that thing? I mean, with the fact that the fire rod was locked behind the lamp, maybe the bombos medallion is locked behind the fire rod here inside Ice Palace.
So we have a fiery chain of events, huh?
I know there are fire bar rooms in ice, but I didn't think there are fiery snake chain.
Not that I know of. This is some strange mystery room here. The Boots is near Misery Mire. Okay. Well, we know that we're finding the Boots.
Yeah, they're not gonna skip out on checking Meyer Shed once they get the flute.
No. I mean, even if you're in go mode, if you know where the Boots are and it's along the way, you are not going to miss out on that. I mean, even if the big key in Genon's Tower is not on the torch, you're still going there. Nice Pengator room. Oh, that's interesting. This is it's not routing I see every day. Heading straight to the Freezor room instead of going to the back. Well, that is incredibly lucky finding that key there. That's sort of exactly what, sort of the only thing you actually want to find in that room to make the routing easier in here.
Yeah, routing in Ice Palace is such a pain, especially in vanilla. Getting those keys early will help immensely.
Dang, we still need to find an item in here. That'd be nice.
Have you found only the dungeon items so far?
Oh, there's a nice big shield.
Well, that reflected on my answer, so yeah.
I think I remember. I'm pretty sure it was just the map in the first room, and then we found a compass and a key, and now that's our first. And another key. That's not actually a bad find either, because that means that you can. Never mind. Say that means that you can route the iced tea room backwards, but it doesn't look like that's what we're doing here.
Like I said earlier, just really weird routing all around for Ice Palace, no which way.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because the big key is in the iced tea room, and having, you know, 2 extra keys would have made doing the backwards routing here pretty convenient, but unfortunately he's got to drop down to the basement, walk all the way around here, and then get his big key, and then walk all the way back.
Meanwhile, Mclagging is going to go to the Pyramid Ferry. Let's see if our ferry there has any.
Yeah, this is interesting because this is one of the few things that we have left. We know there's a couple of things here in Ice Palace, but I mean, between 2 items in Ice Palace and 2 items in this pyramid, we have as much of a chance as there being something interesting in both of these places.
And we got Piece of Heart and Baked One.
Nothing. Absolutely nothing. So I gotta think like either the flute or bombos has to be in here.
And yet another Big 20. Yeesh.
Alright, so what do you have for us? Thing that might be Cold Stare, but doesn't necessarily have to be. Also, I mean, it's a good thing he's found that green potion, because if this is Cold Stare, he would be in a little bit of trouble. Oh, come on. Can't make all these fights easy.
Another easy peasy Mothula fight. He looked kind of frozen though.
Yeah, Randomizer does fun things with the palace. Or palette.
Okay, where else do we have to... There, can we go now? Because we nearly... Oh, the Smith's chain! We have the Smith's chain left for Matt.
Yeah. I mean, hey, maybe that's our unique item on Somebody Friendly. But gosh, we are running short on stuff, and Matt's saying no to the Smith's chain. He's going to check that Pyramid Fairy and get a little bit disappointed. See, this... Oh man, we are last locationing some things.
Yeah, it was a fast seed earlier in getting the first sword, which was Uncle Assure, the gloves, the bow, not shovel, powder, just getting a lot of things early, and then now we got this weird bottle.
I want to see how Mclagging routes this after he gets past the Ice Palace bomb jump here, because he could make some decisions that would also catch him up a little bit. Just given the positioning of both the keys and whatever other thing that I was thinking of. I can't remember. Given the position, yeah, so he's heading up here instead, which is not going to give him the key over on the left-hand side. But there is a key over on the right-hand side, so it doesn't really matter. He is going to have that extra key, and he's going to be able to combo that into the iced tea room, which is going to give him the big key, which is going to allow him to route this a little bit better. If that's what he ends up doing, which I suspect he will.
Meanwhile, looks like Matt's gonna check Catfish. I was kind of hoping he was just gonna hook shot across and then check like Graveyard Ledge and then maybe Lumberjack Ledge as Draconi our tracker Draco Falcone, who's been doing a great job by the way. He's saying that nobody checked Lumberjack Ledge, and that is a good point.
Yeah, we haven't seen it. Definitely the only interesting thing that could be there. It's going to depend where that flute is. So we still haven't seen that thing.
To answer your question, Chad, boots, we found out through the hints in Ice Palace, they are in the Mire Shed.
So Mclagging is doing exactly what I thought he would. Since he has that extra key, the sort of wise routing decision here is to make your way down through this ice room and through this locked door, which is going to take you down to the iced tea room where you can get your big key, and then sort of the rest of this chain sort of resolves itself. So Matt's on what we suspect is the right track here, which is the Smith chain.
Yep, he has the smiths, the pegs, and the purple chest left. For this chain. He hasn't checked Lumberjack or Graveyard Ledge, so which would probably be his next step after that.
But I think he's gonna find what he's looking for out of this chain probably won't end up going to Graveyard Ledge. I'm gonna think that he probably ends up finding Flute here.
Or unless it's the bombos, which would lead to Flute, which would be a pain in the butt.
It's definitely not Pegs. Again, just to make a callback from ages ago, this is another one of our people who could be potentially holding a unique item. Unfortunately, we've already gotten 2 unique items for friendly people, so who knows anymore? What do you got for us, bud? Nope.
The Smiths were counterfeiters.
So, purple chest? Here we go.
I'm actually a little surprised that Matt is... Oh, never mind. I was wondering why Matt wasn't saving quitting, but he's going to take a look at the north items as well. Which is good routing.
Yeah, I mean, this kind of makes sense, especially if you haven't got that above the pose hand. Where are you heading, Mclagging? I really would love to know. I think this is going to be the Smith's chain.
To answer your question, chat, no, it's not going to be Vanilla Flute because the dig spot was nothing.
Yeah, this has to be. Yeah, he's heading straight for the warp here. This has to be Smith's chain. So this is interesting. This is gonna almost square them straight up. Just given the fact that Mclagging ended up taking a faster route through Ice Palace, and Matt is kind of doing some of the stuff that Mclagging did earlier. Matt's kind of been ahead for a while here, thanks to a couple of decisions that Mclagging made. Causing him to double dip things, but he's been slowly sort of catching up time here against Matt, and this is sort of the end result of this. And they're definitely going to find exactly what they're looking for. It's the flute. There it is.
We got a Tutti Flutie. Time to go to Meyer next.
All right. So now we get our boots. We figure out what Meyer is. We probably find our Bombos medallion in there. Or maybe in Checkerboard Cave. And then, or maybe it's behind the boots. Who knows?
Or it's been at Lumberjack Cave this whole time.
Or maybe it's been in Lumberjack Cave this whole time and we have to go to Aga.
Or maybe it's on Ladmola. We'll see.
Oh man, Bombos needed for Meyer would be perfect. I cannot wait to see what this medallion is.
Or technically whoever is in the Ladmola's room. To answer questions, chat, no, in standard and open mode, there cannot be, actually, in any non-key sanity mode, there cannot be items in Aga Tower chests.
It's pretty incredible how close this has ended up being, despite all the diversions and despite all the sort of craziness. I mean, after finding that flute, Mclagging must be feeling really, really, really behind, and he's really not extremely behind. So there's our boots.
And there's our go mode at 129.19. Matt7898 is in go mode.
Okay. Yeah, sure. And it was
And the bad part about this is that very seldom are Meyer and T-Rock ever go modable because of the key lag.
Oh man. So next question, what kind of a mire are we looking at?
Knowing our luck, it's gonna be a vanilla big key. And Mclagging, and the next minute's also gonna hit go mode. Let's see if we have a Godmire today.
Not yet. I can't believe that. 2 required items in the mire shed. Just locked behind this chain of ridiculousness. What do we got? Hey! God Meyer. Ish.
Well, technically it's still a Godmire, considering that bridge key, unless you know how to hover, you need to come around this way anyway.
I mean, it's nice when it's on the bridge over there, just so you don't have to sink a bunch of your health into. But yeah, it's going to depend. I mean, we still haven't figured out what our bosses are. This could come down to a few different things. It's definitely like some time can be made up with routing and execution. Some time might get made up based on decisions going through Ganon's Tower. And then it also might depend on, who knows, the bosses that we end up seeing and whether or not, because we still don't have half magic, so.
Yeah, the only 2 major items we're missing are half magic and the 4th sword, which we know is in Ganon's Tower.
Okay.
An interesting Helmasaur pattern. That goo up front, that's not gonna be too much of a problem for a run.
No. I mean, Helma King kind of likes to bum rush you anyway, so it's not like he's hanging out of the back.
Sixth crystal down, 9-10. Now it's time to go to Turtle Rock.
The extremely fortunate situation of not having to. Oh, come on. Lagging. Oh, no, he's just going to give up on it. Trying to do the spooky action glitch. Not quite working for him, so just going to do it the old-fashioned way.
Yeah, I was thinking that he might try and do that for the time save, but he didn't. It turned into a time sink, unfortunately.
Alright, so I'm curious about. So we got Mclagging finishing up his 6th crystal.
Since it's an hour and 34 minutes into the match, please give our runners a follow. They've been putting on this great show for our entertainment. So please show them your support. Also, if you like, you can follow our volunteers, our commentary, and our restreamer, and our tracker. Well, don't follow me. I don't actually stream.
right, so it's a question of how we enter Turtle Rock. This is kind of what I want to know, because as far as our timers go, Matt is going to be entering into Turtle Rock. We'll know in a second, rather. 135. We'll say that's 135.07. How close behind is Mclagging going to be? I'd say we're probably looking at a little over a minute.
Yeah, it's looking like that. Matt went in at about 135.15, I believe.
So that's a minute there.
Not the big key yet, but having two small keys early is pretty good.
Yeah, the objective here is to avoid laser bridge if at all possible. So that's a minute and 20 time difference.
Avoid laser bridge, as well as avoid the vanilla big key chest if you can.
Yeah, so it's going to depend on whether or not the big key is right here. It is! Hey, that's nice. Okay, so we get to steal a key from one of the pokies, and then there's the next question of do you risk grabbing the big chest? Because there might be a key in there which would allow you to avoid laser bridge. Might not be. Might just be some dumb big 20.
I'd still go after that big chest. It's too much of a time sink if it turns out that key is in the big chest and not in laser bridge. Interesting. Matt kind of messed up that spin slash, I think. Oddly enough, it looks like the bunny beam took out most of his spins.
Neck and neck race here. I don't know, this is tough. Like, there's definitely like a minute to save here on execution. No, amazingly, Mclagging has done this entire thing without the Moon Pearl, which has to violate some sort of tournament rule, I would think. But it's impressive nonetheless. No, I think there's definitely at least a minute to catch up here in execution. If possible, but then we have this left side, right side situation in Ganon's Tower. Who knows where that big key is?
And lucky for our runners that they not just got a God Mara, they got a God Turtle Rock, because they don't have to go to Laser Bridge or the big key chest.
Yeah, this is about as good as you want your last two dungeons to be.
But Mclagging's gonna check the big key chest anyway, because he's not. I mean, the big chest anyway, because he is not gonna risk it. And we got a Vitreous, our first Vitreous for our race.
Now, long after we already have silver. Hey, another B. I mean, that was worth it, right?
Fantalis, don't we have a game that we should be playing right now?
Well, yes. I mean, if you'd like to.
And that we will. So there are 22 chests in Ganon's tower, where the big key can be. Put in a number between 1 and 22 in chat right now as we start the big key game, and see if you become the winner. I do believe it's still a subscriber and/or 250 bits.
Nah, that's only the main stuff. This is just for funsies.
Oh, right. I take that back. Right, this is ALTTP randomizer, not speed game.
Now, that being said, my personal guess, I never actually put it in chat, but my personal guess is always 15. Because in the traditional route in Ganon's Tower, that... Oh, man. Okay, never mind.
Well, there goes my guess as well, because I
That's
wanted
a
to
two.
my usual tile room chest. So we got I got Ganon's Towers.
This is ridiculous. Like, as soon as the boots and bombos came out, this thing just ended. Anyway, I was gonna say it's always 15 because traditional route always ends up being vanilla, but nope, not today. I seriously doubt that we're gonna end up getting her butter sword either. Even if it is upstairs here, I have no idea why either of these runners would open any of these chests upstairs.
Yeah, especially it's an hour and nearly 42 minutes into the seed. They probably and they don't see a dot done yet, so they're kind of thinking they might be a little. They're not gonna waste time on those chests. I don't believe it.
Yeah, that was a rough TR. I mean, it's already in the gauntlet, and Mclagging's yet to get into Ganon's Tower. Honestly, the tempered strats on Vitreous probably lost a little bit of time, and then opening that big key chest lost a little bit of time as well. Okay. Well, that's first chest.
Interestingly, he didn't mirror her. Oh, there's our first Tridex.
Hey. I think when you found that ice rod like 500 years ago. It feels like so long ago. In the chess game.
Matt's gonna find out that. Oh wait, you do have to beat this head. I swore that for Randomizer, sometimes you beat the first phase and the door automatically opens, but not this time.
Yeah, like if it's Argus, that can happen, and that's definitely.
However, I forgot to mention, you do see Trinex's shell again in the next room.
You know, that has a very Chrono Trigger vibe to it. Fighting those mini Lavoses.
Maybe Squaresoft, then Squaresoft thought, oh, that shell looks like a good idea for a boss. Let's do it.
It's pretty fancy. Everything in Randomizer is a feature. It's great. The best feature in Randomizer is the end credits. I love the end credits. Although I don't think we get to see them here just because the regular enemies aren't randomized.
Could be possible. We'll see.
I've never seen this before. The other question is, what do we have for Moldorm 2? In this case, it can't be Trinex, just because Trinex is busted in that room. A couple of things are busted in that room.
Well, that was interesting. The bomb stopped right in between the moving conveyor belts, and it just stopped it.
Oh,
And
come
we
on.
have this is our third Mothula.
Like, I just wanted a hard fight in this video game. I don't know if that's too much to ask. Like, honestly, it seemed like the enemy... That's a great position for that. Honestly, it seems like the Randomizer didn't actually make anything more difficult. It just made a lot of the bosses way, way easier.
Yeah, that's just the problem with having Randomizer in standard mode, because you can't randomize that regular enemies for the. Also, yeah, that shell position for Mclagging was funny. You just have to walk underneath the shell to get to.
Yeah, I guess that's the thing with Chaos Randomizer, is you have just as much a chance of ending up with 3 moths in easy places as you do 3 cold stairs in difficult places.
So Matt finishes his trigonometry exam. It's time to fight the big.
Yeah, I think this is again Matt's race to lose. I seriously doubt he's going to take a fall to the pig here.
Fingers crossed, of course, but it only takes one. It'll only take one Ganon fall for Mclagging to get back in here.
He's missed the 1-1 though.
Speaking of, Mclagging had a better Mothula fight than Matt. Matt's the sword beams actually made the Mothula fight a little harder for Matt, but not so much Mclagging.
Yeah. It's that desire to get both of those fairies beforehand.
As they say, safety first.
Well, Mclagging has a chance to catch up a tiny bit of time here if he nails the 1-1, but I don't think it's going to be enough unless Matt takes a fall here.
Nah, these Aghanim patterns were pretty rough, especially since they went off sync.
Yeah.
But Mclagging, I think he got it a little faster than Matt.
Yeah, he missed it. Oh, okay. Oh, that was stressful to watch. Oh, he pulled it through though.
At least he got that double there, but wow. And there he goes. Is he gonna get the 4th arrow? Yes, he did. Don't walk off the ledge, please, Matt. And Matt has finished his raid. Let me see if I can get
got her. GG's to Matt.
Sorry, I can't pull up the SLR times right now.
His official time is 1:49:16. Yeah, this is a good old-fashioned classic race. Mclagging missed the 1-1 as well, so he's sort of stuck doing the short or the long version of this as well. Though I'm not sure that would have helped much here. But yeah, an incredibly close race. Just a couple of, like quality routing decisions. Honestly, like if I had to point at one thing that made the difference in this, it was probably Matt immediately taking the south route in the dark world and finding that mirror and that lamp. Because that just ended up saving a ton of time, like one double dip, a faster pod.
Yeah.
GG's to Mclagging as well, who finishes full time of 150.39.
Get your GGs in chat, please. For both runners. We'll see if we can get them into the chat if they are up for it.
Yeah, if we can pull him in here, I would love to have a short conversation about that. That's interesting.
Yeah, I'm not seeing them in our waiting rooms just yet. So while we're waiting, I will say again, please follow our runners as they've completed this incredible race for all of our entertainment. Also, please follow all of our volunteers. Myself, well, don't follow me, I don't have a Twitch. My partner in commentary, Fantalis, also Draco Falcone, our tracker, and Danger Muffins slash Kiki Kiki as our streamer. And we are finally joined by Matt7898
Hey, how's it going?
and Mclagging.
GG's to both.
Thanks.
Yeah, thanks.
So, how'd you guys feel about the seed?
It was kind of boring. Seemed like we just kind of walking around everywhere. It almost seemed like the Randomizer made the game easier. We got the early red mail. It was just, I don't know, for me, it was just trying to get to that lunchbox, which was almost the last location that I had.
Yeah, lots of nice long strolls through Hyrule, just looking at things, not really finding much. It was really fun, yeah.
Yeah, the bot was kind of a jerk this time around. Out of all the things I've watched in the tournament, this was probably one of the more, as much as you can call something vanilla in Randomizer, probably one of the most vanilla things I've seen. It was just a classic, good old-fashioned item hunt, linear-ish sort of. Yeah.
Yeah, just find the flute, find everything else.
Oh boy. So I don't even know what to ask about this. Like, I guess I'll go to Mclagging because I'm wondering, you basically last locationed Hype Cave, which ended up being one of several keys to unlock the whole thing. How are you feeling after that?
Once I finally got there, it's like, well, That's a huge time loss just about everywhere that I went before I went to Hype Cave, because the one time I don't go there first, of course, it burns me, instead of it just being full of junk like normal.
Yeah, and then you find out you dip Skull Woods and then find out that Fire Rod is in Mushroom. That probably didn't help you too much either.
Wasn't great, but at that point I was just so happy to find progression, I didn't care anymore. I just wanted to do something again.
I'll tell you what else was killing me. How about that? How about that mushroom, the basement arrow?
I dipped Harrow without any fire source, and there's a hint saying, hey, there's a unique item in there if you have fire. It's like, oh, cool. Then I never fire for a long time. Then that was a long trip back up there for the mushroom. And then I put that off because it was the mushroom. Then, yeah. Bit of a rude seed today.
Yeah. I'm curious about a couple of things because, like, Matt, you ended up getting, I would say, a lot of stuff very right, especially like ignoring the call of Desert Palace after everything else with the book ended up being gross. But I would say I'm wondering what brought you back into Swamp Palace when you had a few things left to clear.
I think at that point it was either Smith's or like Ice Palace or Desert, right? Because I think at that point I knew I couldn't go to Turtle Rock. It's just I think it was the most item dense location. I just checked so much overworld and I just couldn't find anything. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna dungeon dive Swamp and Ice. I just found the flippers because I went back up to Spike Cave. It just seemed like the best thing to do.
Yeah, it was intense. I mean, we were commenting that you know, some of these things might end up closing the gap over time, but it seems like a lot of the things that you ended up doing were the same just because of how disgusting things like Flute in Purple Chest is just dumb, and Fire Rod being locked behind fire is also dumb. It's just a lot of dumb things. So, yeah, I think a lot of you ended up sort of tracking over what had gone before, and it was a lot of just small decisions, I think.
Yeah, it was a terrible seed. I'm sorry you had to sit through that.
No, it was great. We got to sit back and wonder, what is it? What is it at the basement of Hera? What on earth is that thing?
Yeah, I was upset when it was the mushroom, but then not upset when that turned into the fire rock.
Another lingering thought we had at the end of the seed was that neither of you checked the lumberjack ledge, and we were wondering if Ega was going to be required anytime soon.
I was worried about that for a while, but we never found Boots forever. Then Boots immediately led to go mode. So I was like, okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
How about that Mire shed?
That was great.
It's always in the Meyer shed.
After everything else, that Meyer shed was just perfect. I was like, all right, now we can just end this horrible game.
Yeah, I feel like the hints were also really fantastic. I mean, you had the one for Hera Basement, but also someone friendly is holding a unique item. Yeah, that didn't that was like, maybe that's
Yeah.
what could that be?
That was the only reason I did pod. I finished it because of that hint. Even though I'm pretty sure we got the moon pearl from someone friendly before that, but I was like, I'm gonna see.
All sorts of stuff was. I mean, you got the Quake medallion from somebody friendly, fire up from somebody ridiculous.
Yeah, it's true.
All right. Well, I think we'll wrap this up because you guys been sitting around for 20 minutes before you hopped into here. But before we go, any final thoughts from either of you?
Thanks a lot for the commentary, Mclagging. It's been a good series.
Yep, been a fun one. Thanks for comms and restream, and hopefully we don't have to play another seed like this for the rest of the tourney. And good luck the rest of the way, Matt.
Thanks, man. You too.
Yeah, and thank you guys for putting on a show. Again, like, give these guys a follow. Fantastic, fantastic runners. One 149 is a really good time for a seed this stupid. So top level runners, clearly uh, exciting stuff to watch. Um, just so you know, uh, we do have other stuff going on for the tournament. I believe we've got a link to it. If we do some sort of mystery command, um, which I forget what that is, but we do have a schedule. Does anybody know what
Right
command that is?
now, we have the 9:30 race between Ultima and ZZZ Cube at ALTTP Randomizer 2. We also have another 9:30 race between Liam Atlas and Fear Agent on Speed Gaming 4. And just starting should be the Argo XD Maximum Barnes match at Speed Gaming 2.
Fantastic. All right. Any final thoughts, Serio X?
Just that this was that despite the and we'll see you next rando.
Yeah, absolutely. All of you have a fantastic night. That'll be it for me.
Later's all.